number 7, Office Attorney General Opinion KB 002, which was generated by RQ-1213-GA regarding determination of terms of office and county hospital district board members who received the same number of votes in the initial election.
So I put this on here because we asked for this opinion from the Attorney General, and I think it's only right I make a motion now that we accept his opinion and make it our own.
I'll second that.
That was my understanding when we had Andy Lucas send it to the Attorney General that we were going to abide by the decision, or that was the impression I got. I hadn't went back and dissected it.
That was my impression too, but I wasn't sure if it was clear.
I don't mind seconding it. I moved on it the first time.
We do have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I would like to point out, I looked at the opinion, if you want to call it that. As far as I'm concerned, it's a non-opinion. I think that the Attorney General's office more or less avoided the issue because in their summary they said that a court could, and I emphasize could, conclude that 5 members of the board would serve 2-year terms and only 2 would serve 1-year terms. To me, where they missed the boat completely was there's a statement in there somewhere where they said that the legislature failed to define the term majority because the law says, as y'all all know, the provision in the code says that a majority of the board members would serve 2-year terms and the rest of them would serve 1-year terms. I think it's clear by the way the law is on everything else on boards that it's meant, and they even mentioned that it's meant to be roughly half. And of course, almost all boards, if not all boards, you have an odd number, so you can't have it exactly half, but something that is close to half. In my opinion, there's no necessity to define the word majority. I don't know why whoever wrote this opinion didn't go pull out their Black's Law Dictionary and look up the definition of majority. I did. The definition of majority is the number larger than half of the total. Simple. In my experience of 36 years being an attorney, anytime that the law uses the term majority, they mean simple majority. Otherwise, the law will specify 2/3 majority or 3/4 majority or whatever. Again, I think they missed it. I think they didn't want to really get into it and sort of punt it, if you want to call it that. And this is nothing but an opinion. They didn't say that, yes, it definitely, that 5 persons would serve a 2-year term and the other 2 would serve 1-year terms. You look at the word could. Well, a tornado could come through tonight and take one of our houses out. The likelihood of that's not very great, but it could, and that's the word they use, and that's a weasel word. I'll just come out and say it's a weasel word. And so, to me, and I know that probably 4 members of this board are going to take this as a green light to go ahead and 5 people serve, but 2. That's never what the law intended, and I think it's a bad opinion coming out of the agent's office. I think it's wrong. But it is what it is, and y'all can take it for that. But it is an opinion only. If you went to court, I think that a court, if they look at it really hard, would conclude that the intent of the law throughout the law, that a board, when you have a number of people, you have half of them going off at one election cycle and the other half going off the other cycle. One of the main reasons that is that you want as many experienced people on that board as you can. Now, another thing about this opinion is if you take it to its logical conclusion, the way the Attorney General's office ruled, what if there had been a 3-way tie for 4th place? Would you have 6 people serving 2-year terms and 1 serving 1?
I believe the way it was written, you would.
Or if you know, if there's a four-way tie, then everybody's up for election at one time, and nobody's up for election another time. That makes no sense. That's when you carry it out, what they said, it makes no sense. So my opinion is that that's a bad opinion, but that's just me,
Does,
in 36 years' experience.
does the law use majority towards the number of people or the number of votes?
Well, this particular statute that we're looking at, John, says the majority of the board members receiving the most votes. They obviously did not think about the possibility of a tie at that fourth position. But again, the word majority is simple majority, and how in the world the AG's office came up with this opinion is beyond me.
So if we want to take this a step further and pursue court action, how would we go about doing that?
Well, you're asking, I'm not sure that I have an answer for that. If someone wanted to challenge the issue, if this board decided, well, we'll go ahead and have the five that got the most votes serve a 2-year term and the other two serve a 1-year term, if someone filed suit and claimed at some point that one of those five was serving illegally because the law was, of course, you got to prove to a court that the intent of the legislature, and that's possible to do. If you go back and research legislative history, you may find that that was the intent. They just did not define majority. But again, my position is you don't have to define a majority because that word has a legal meaning. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in the Black's Law Dictionary. Okay. But if somebody wanted to file suit, they could make a claim that one of those five people was serving illegally because they should have been up for election. I can't give you a better answer than that because I truly don't know.
I would like to add that I also think that it's important that we go beyond the law, you know, always pulling this laws and rules and stuff out. I think we need to go back also to the intent of their board and how it was set up and what's best for the hospital and the hospital district. And I'm really concerned about the idea of 5 people going off next year and 5 new people being there with only 2 people who have any experience. We've all seen how hard it is to learn this stuff. And I think that it's setting the hospital up down the line to have more difficulties. And I think that's just a consideration beyond who wants to read the rule one way or another way or argue the point of the law. I really feel like our responsibility is to what's best for the hospital district. And I really feel like a 4-3 change over and over would be best, even if it was to maybe have 4 people be 1 year and 3 people be 2 and switch it over that way. I just think that that 5-3 is, or 5-2 is going to be a problem down the line. It will just keep perpetuating forever and ever. And I think it's something that we should consider beyond fighting over the fine points of the law.
So you're saying have the 3 people serve 2-year terms and the 4 serve 1?
I think it's a consideration.
One way to break that up. And that would resolve the tie also. If the 2 tied people could be served up. 1-year term. That's a great idea.
Why don't we just make it for all 7 people and we start over?
There's actually a process for that.
Well, I realize. I'll tell you, it's unfortunate that the previous board chose not to try to resolve this in any way. They didn't ask for a recount. They did not canvass the vote. They, to my knowledge, had 0 discussions about solving this tie. What should have happened is it should have been solved before anybody was sworn into office. My concern at this point is we're talking about removing someone from office.
I'm sorry, but you said the previous board should have resolved it. What, you lost me.
I think the previous board, when you see a tie in an election, the first thing you do is call for a recount. Didn't happen. Second thing you would do is you would canvass the vote. The third thing you would do is resolve it before swearing anybody into office. If there's a tie this May 9th, it'll be resolved before we swear anybody in.
lost to make a comment because the previous board that was appointed, and that's the way it has to be to get a hospital district started. The law requires the county appoint a board. But I don't think they have any authority to decide a tie on a newly elected board. It's up to the newly elected board to settle the tie if it needs to be settled. And what's happened in this case, as everybody here, everybody on the board and everybody present knows, is that the majority of this board refused to do that.
Actually, you did, we asked for an attorney general opinion on the matter.
No,
We voted 6-0 to do it.
Right.
I also made a motion at one point to flip a coin and resolve the tie.
And that was,
And that was, yes, so there was an opportunity to.
Well, and at that meeting, I offered to take a one-year term, and nobody was willing to do that.
well, as I told you, I don't think you can because you were not one of the tied persons. I can say that for sure, but my gut reaction was that someone who does not exist in the tie could just automatically take it. That's the reason I said that. I mean, I've been happy to let you do that, but I just didn't think it was proper.
And just to have more discussion, I'm somewhat disturbed by that concept that the people that are going to decide whether they have a 1-year or 2-year term are also going to be the ones deciding, voting on that. Because a 1-year or 2-year term not be included in the vote. They have a personal interest, could have a personal interest in participating one way or another in the vote.
So just have them abstain from the vote.
I think it should be a consideration.
Any other discussion?
I think all 7 of us were voted on to be here and make the decision.
I agree. I don't think we can forcibly ask someone to, or force someone to abstain from voting. So we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Paul, would you read back what the motion was?
The motion was to accept the attorney general opinion and make it our own.
So any more discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. I believe it went 4-3. All right, next item is to address the composition of the board as it relates to the tie vote and the number of members to serve the 1- and 2-year terms.
I put that on the agenda, and I will go ahead and withdraw it at this point. I feel there's really no reason to beat that dead horse.
I was going to volunteer to take 1 term so we could balance this out, take a 1-year term.
Hey, if that's an option, I would love to make that motion.
So what would happen is this, is if you resign your position, the board would have to appoint somebody to replace your position for the unexpired term, not until the next election. That's the way the law's worded.
Right.
So even if you did that, that wouldn't solve the issue.
In theory, it would, because whoever took my place would not be a majority winner. I assume we would appoint someone that was, whoever was runner-up, that was vote getter number 8.
Oh, I'm just thinking of the Ponte thing. That would not solve.
I'm just saying, and you and I've had this discussion, I would like to see it done differently, but I'm not going to ask someone to remove themselves from office.
Sure.
I'm fully content to resign and run the race again. If I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. Ron, you're dying to say something. Go ahead.
Well, again, Chip, I appreciate your offer. I just don't know that you're allowed to do that since you were not one of the ones that tied. You'd have to ask somebody besides me about whether that's appropriate or not.
Yeah.
I'm not, I said, maybe that's settled it, but somebody comes up and says, hey, that was improper, and then it was improper, then we got egg on our face, so.
Right. So in theory, I could resign at 4:59 tomorrow, assuming that my application's filled out correctly and start the whole process over.
Like I said, you would have to appoint somebody to fill your unexpired term, and your term would not be on the ballot. There would still only be 2 on the ballot, because your unexpired term is still for another year.
So that takes us back to the fact that you were not one of the people that tied.
Right.
People that tied are sitting down here.
Paul, what's the time frame in terms of when the board would appoint someone, or when there would be a special election to fill that position of someone who resigned?
There is no special election. It's filled until the unexpired term for the rest of the term, so if he's got 14 more months on his term, then the next 14 months. That's how it's worded. I didn't write it that way.
Yeah, I know that provision, I just wasn't sure.
That's how I read it.
It's not agreed upon, but it's not an election.
I don't know, see, if you got a 7-member board, you have one person resign, you've got 6 people, so you've got the definite possibility of a tie trying to replace somebody, and then there you are.
I
So
actually looked at that. I couldn't figure out a timeline or anything that legally bound him for you to it.
Like I said, obviously, I don't know the answer to that.
All right, so no other ideas or?
Or, agree to untie the tie. And have, one person, agree to run this time, have a 1-year term and run for reelection. The other one gets 2, and then we're back. I mean, like I said, the way it is intended to be, you can look anywhere in the law. You have, commissioners court, you've got 5 members, 4 commissioners and the judge. And you have 3 of those going off one time to another, go to city council. Any kind of board like that, that's the way it is. I just, was shocked beyond belief when they came back with this opinion, and like I said, once I looked at it, I felt it was a non-opinion, but it would have to be one of the 2 members that tied, being Eugene Grove and Paul Harper, and if they're not willing to do that, we're stuck. Or the rest of the board is not gonna say, we're gonna.
Forever and ever, amen. It's
forever
always
and
gonna
ever,
be
amen.
5 people into.
Right, unless,
Even
if
though-
you get a change in board at some point, and the board is a majority of the board, which is 4, by the way, vote to settle it, they can settle it at, before the next election to set it back to 4-3. But as long as you have, a board with people saying, no, it's 5-2 is fine, then, yeah, you're stuck.
Any further discussion?